everything. And what the hell everything for Thursday, November 12th, 2020.
Yeah. November 12th. Hey.
We made it to the mid-November.
7 years today of no cigarettes.
Oh, man.
I just realized it just now.
It's
the 12th.
You know what's even more hurtful is that I had quit smoking due to a book that I read and led you to get the book and quit smoking. You actually stuck with it. The hurtful part is that I went back on the wagon and never went, or vice versa, never went back on.
It was weird. The first time I'd bought cigarettes in almost 7 years was like the last month, as I'd be driving in real early in the morning.
I'd always try to quit. So like I throw my cigarettes away a lot of times at night, you know, and I don't want to smoke the next morning. And then it's 4:30 and I'm like, I'm going to smoke. Tim, can you stop and grab me smokes on the way in? I'm sorry.
Quitting is sometimes wasteful in terms of using what you bought.
Yeah.
You know, I get that.
I throw them away sometimes.
That book, I don't know what it was. I think I was just fed up and I read the book and I smoked my little heart out that day reading the book, and then it was just over.
Yeah. That's how it worked for me. And then I had the one cigarette that it just says in the book, you're done if you do. And I was done.
For a couple of years, I was terrified, like just hanging out with anybody smoking, like if we're in a car or something. Now it's like, I'm like, oh, they smoked. I didn't even. Yeah. It's like I don't even remember that way of life. I don't remember how I felt or anything.
It's because they say in the book, who was by who? What was the book by? It was called The Easy Way to Quit Smoking, Stop Smoking by... what was that guy's name? I am a huge proponent of it because I've had literally close to 10 people get that book and quit smoking.
Alan Carr.
Yeah.
Alan Carr's Easy Way. He's got Easy Way to do a lot of stuff, but the quit smoking.
It seriously is legit. Check it out.
Yeah.
For real.
It works.
No show clips on the podcast. I'm actually really excited. We talked to a friend of ours, Art Smith.
Yeah.
Art Smith from, local Northern Michigan radio veteran, started in radio Northern Michigan and is no longer in radio now. Huh?
When he's not having children, he's on the air. I'm kidding you, Art. I'm kidding, but
Artemis Pile Driver, how are you?
That's a great intro, man. I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. It's good to see your face.
It's good to see you guys in the good old Smitty hole, Mr. Logan, Mr. Smitty. It's good to see you.
I haven't seen you in person in like, I don't know, 10 years, maybe less. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the last time that we had face-to-face interaction, we've been practicing COVID before it was a thing. I think it was Cherry Fest.
That sounds right.
Cherry Festival when?
2009?
2009?
2000. God, I don't even remember. Yeah, probably 2009. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, Art's always got a soft spot in my heart. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm pretty sure Art won the contest, one of my first ever contests that I put together when I was doing the Asylum, literally like 3 months after I started in radio.
Yeah.
Got this. Was it? Who is it? Devil Driver and Kill Switch?
Yeah. God, you just that just brought back flashbacks. It was Lamb of God and Kill Switch Engage.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I got Art. Well, I think I did have him in to meet Kill Switch, and he wasn't old enough because he wasn't 18 yet, so they wouldn't let him go backstage. So he won a contest. That's what it was. He won the contest to interview the bands.
Yeah.
That I totally set up the contest, and he wasn't 18, even though he won. He had a badass like thing that he sent in, and so I had to go interview the guy from Kill Switch. So
dude, holy shit, that brings back. Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was 10 years ago, and because really, I mean, truth be told, when I had graduated high school, I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do, so I was listening to The Zone on the bus on the way to school, and then I started driving and I would listen to Cartman and Homeless Jake, and yeah, I mean, it was always just a part of my life. So then I hit up Fife, and yeah, wow, that's crazy. I completely forgot about that.
Dude, you weren't even a radio at that point, you know?
No, I remember I would drive to school because I lived in Kalkaska, but I went to school at Forest area. And I would drive to school and listen to The Zone every morning. And then I remember hitting up Fife one day, or Cartman, or Brian. He's bipolar. He's got so many different names. I hit him up and I was like, hey, how did you get your start in radio? And he was like, I went to Specs Howard. I'll connect you with Renee and Brent Carey. And yeah, that kind of rolled, started getting things rolling.
Did you get into it right after high school then?
Yeah, so I graduated high school. I was working at Subway, I think in Kalkaska. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to move downstate. I'm going to move down to Detroit area and just go to school for radio. And I was driving my girlfriend at the time, who ended up being the mother of my child for my first son, because I have 17 million kids. I was driving her. I had my bags packed and I was driving her back to her house, and I totaled my car on the way there.
Oh.
And I don't know if you're familiar with Kalkaska, but there was like this little cherry market, and this guy was turning, and I was talking to her, and I looked back and crashed right into the car, into the truck in front of me. So I totaled my car. I went down to Detroit with no vehicle. My grandma had to give me rides everywhere for a little bit until I could get up on my feet. But yeah, that was really the start of radio and going to specs and everything like that.
Then you got fired for drawing a dick in the snow.
No. Well, the funny thing about that, the funny thing about that was, like, I graduated. It was part of like RTV 1208, so that's how they do like their weird little number things when you graduate. So
RTV 106 represent.
Yeah, so see, Specs alumni. And then I went up north, and my first station, I was gracious enough to have Terry Ray hire me as the promotions, production, voice track night guy. I was packing remote bags for Omelet and Finster. And then some stuff happened. I was kind of laid off, let go from there. And then I went to KHQ, and then I worked there for a couple.
At KHQ. I thought you were at, that's right. I thought you were at KHQ first.
No, KHQ second. So if you know, probably going to Specs, you ask them like, well, where do I go? Like, I'd love to be on Riff. And they're like, ha, fat chance, asshole. And it's like, okay, cool. So where do I go? And they're like, go up to the land of nothing but trees and people with mustaches, even the females. Go to Northern Michigan. I was like, okay. So I went up there, was working at KLT for a while. Some stuff went down and I was let go. And then Josh, who was doing mornings at the time, hired me for KHQ, and I worked there for almost 2.5 years. The thing is the non-compete and all the legal stuff is over, so I could definitely talk about that.
Yeah.
And it was in the middle of winter, and at the time, I'm not going to say which news reporter was working out of that building, but we would party all the time. And I remember I was extremely hungover. It was a Saturday morning. I think I was on 9 to 2 on KHQ. And I got bored, and I was like, what do you want to do? And he's like, let's go draw dicks in the snow. And I was like, cool. So we both just went out. We went out in the parking lot. And the misconception is people think that I used my dick to draw the dick. I'm not that talented. What we did is we just used our feet. We drew giant dicks in the snow. His turned out better than mine. So I posted it on Facebook, and I said, look, it's a dinosaur.
Yep.
The next day, which would be Sunday, I got a call from the program director, and his name was Bill Michaels, and he's like, hey, we need to talk. And I'm like, okay. And at that time, I had already like done so much stupid shit that I don't know what I was thinking. I remember I told all the listeners that Santa Claus wasn't real. I did a break about that, and that went insane. It was like I did that on December 14th. And then I did another post about
the height of the season.
Yeah, I was just dumb. Like, I look back and I'm like, I was asking to be fired. I think I did another break where I said vagina on air, which on a top 40 you're not supposed to do. And then I said something about like fat people using handicap spots because they're lazy. I was just an asshole. Like, I was really an asshole, and I was trying to be like the Howard Stern in Northern Michigan. And so January 28th was when I got let go. And so I drew the dick in the snow on Saturday. On Sunday, I had the meeting with the program director, and he's like, you're not going to get fired. I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, but you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk on Monday again. I was like, okay, cool. So I get into work on Monday, and they're like, you need to come upstairs. And when you go upstairs, it's like death row. Like, I mean, Logan, you know the building. Like, no one from programming goes upstairs. It's like sacred land.
Yep.
So I went up there, and the owners were there, and they're like, why did you do this? And I was like, because I was bored and it was fun. And they're like, well, do you know what you did wrong? And I'm like, not really. I said it was a dinosaur. And they're like, you can't do that. I was like, okay. They're like, and one of the owner's husband was like, that's destroying company property. And I was like, it's snow, it melts. Like, just give it a couple months. And they're like, we have to let you go. And I was like, are you serious? And they're like, yeah. It's like, okay. So I went downstairs, grabbed my stuff and got out. And I remember I was sitting in my car and I was driving a Dodge Duster at the time, and it had no topper. It was all metal. Like it was like somebody like needed the like the lining on the inside for warmth or something. I don't fucking know. But I remember sitting there and I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? And yeah, so that was the KHQ story. It was definitely a learning lesson, because it was funny. I ended up posting on my Facebook after, like, hey, I got fired and this and that for drawing a dick in the snow. And they told me to take it down or they were going to sue me. So I took it down, and yeah, it was a mess. It was a lesson learned, though.
I didn't know I was going to get the whole story.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to get the, no,
Yeah.
I always like details, man.
I've known him a long time, and I've never heard you not refer to it as the dinosaur incident or talk about, it was a dinosaur.
I mean, it was a pretty cool looking dinosaur, but it cost me my job and a bunch of unemployment too. Like my son at the time, I only had one kid, not 17 at the time. He was, God, maybe not even 2 years old. I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment in Petoskey that was attached to a print shop. That was the worst thing ever. It was the worst apartment ever, but it was what I could afford. And yeah, it was just like, I look back at it, and it obviously led to better things, and it got me to where I'm at now. And I still think it's the funniest fucking thing ever, because like the unemployment letter, when they denied my unemployment, they attached the picture and said, this is why you're denied unemployment.
This is why.
Yeah. And it was great. It was great because it's like, I still have that paper today and I look at it and laugh.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's amazing. So now, obviously, everybody knows that or that's the rumor. You get fired, door closes, door opens. Now you're a vet. Now you're a radio veteran, not even a radio anymore.
Yeah, like afterwards, it was hard to get a job in Michigan in general because everybody had kind of knew about this story, and I was almost like a company liability at that point. They don't want to hire me on. I had offers, but it was either there was an offer in Wisconsin. I was like, that's too far away from my son, and then there was an offer in Rhode Island, and I was like, I can't take that. And then Rob Sparks and Caleb got a hold of me, and I ended up going to South Bend and went from nights to mornings in like 6 months, and kind of learned that being an asshole on the radio doesn't pay. I mean, for rock it works, and for classic rock it works, but when you're on like Top 40 and CHR, it's a lot of Karens. Like it's a lot of like people that they just they want their Taylors.
I wouldn't be able to, I know that I'd be out in a heartbeat. Either because I was ready to go or because I would be told to go.
Yeah, it was a change. I ended up working with a lot of nonprofits, and doing mornings down in South Bend was awesome. And I learned a lot there. I learned like how to separate me, who I am as a person who loves dick jokes, to being like a PC, not Disney Channel, but pretty darn close. You could bend the needle a little bit in Top 40, but not a whole lot.
So now, like I said, you're not even in radio anymore.
It's newfangled radio.
Radio. It's internet radio, man. You are with the brand spanking new Woodward. It's Woodward Sports Network, right?
I just love that there was at least one stuttering Smitty in this segment. It makes me happy.
You're gonna get more.
Favorite thing. Yeah, it's my favorite thing. So recently, and due to like obviously non-compete and contractual litigations, I can't get into too much detail as to what happened in Lansing, but from South Bend I went to Flint, worked in Flint for a couple of years. That was the best time in radio I've ever had. I have so many Flint radio stories. But then went to Lansing after to program a station there, worked there for 3 years, and was cut due to budget cuts due to COVID, which you're seeing now. I mean, it's happening everywhere in radio. It's kind of crazy, and not just in radio, but in general. I got cut in June, and for a couple months, I just did whatever I could to make money outside of prostitution, like literally did whatever I could. And then, my friend and now the network programmer, Woodward Sports, hit me up and said, hey, we need a guy for MMA and esports. Are you interested? And of course, I think being in radio, even you guys, and everyone really, you get those like opportunities that turn out to be nothing. And it's just like constantly getting your hopes up. And then it's like, oh, we're going to pass. But yeah, I mean, this thing came to fruition, and it's a dream come true.
Is it a running joke yet in the building that even though, I mean, you're the MMA guy, you know MMA, but other than that, you literally know dick about sports?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty well known. It's pretty well known that I don't know shit about anything unless it's fighting. You know, they talk about this team called the Detroit Lions. I heard that they're pretty good. Yeah, I mean,
you know, you're going to be surrounded by sports all the time. You're going to know everything by osmosis, whether you want to or not.
Well, yeah, like, and now I know who Kenny Galladay is, and I know Stafford, and I know, you know, that Calvin Johnson was a guy, and there was some guy named Barry Sanders. No, it's, dude, like, when I look at my radio career and like what happened, I wouldn't be where I'm at without like the trials and tribulations of radio. And I think that it's important to note that you know, there's a lot of people getting cut in radio and getting let go and getting fired and whatever the case may be, but it really leads you up to get any job that you want, just because like you're representing multi-million-dollar brands. Like that's your thing. Like you have to know. And even programming and Lansing, like I was blessed to go through hell and Lansing by myself for 3 years, and nothing against the company, but I think anyone running a station by themselves, it's hell on earth, man. I mean, you're in charge of programming, promotions, imaging, you know, everything, social media. You're the one person. But I'm glad that I did it because it got me to where I'm at now.
Dude, I remember, and I hope you're all right talking about this a little bit. You know, when you got let go from radio, to say you were depressed, I mean, I don't know if that's an understatement or not. You know, and I love the fact that I remember I sent you a message. I'm like, dude, keep your head up. You're going to figure something out. And you were at that point still really down, man. So I'm really, really happy for you that you landed something awesome, which, by the way, how is Detroit this time of year?
Well, first off, I want to thank you for that, because I think that when anybody goes through a rough time, you automatically think that you're alone through doing it. And all three of us have been, you know, dealt shitty hands in radio. It's just, it is what it is in the industry. And I would never, they say, don't shit where you eat. I mean, without radio, I wouldn't be where I'm at, but I can't thank both you and Logan enough for, you know, reaching out and saying, hey man, hope things are good. I mean, you know, we did that too. We did that for each other because we both know what it's like. Yeah, as far as Detroit is, so the studio is based in Birmingham, and we cover Detroit sports. I wouldn't call myself a Detroit native. I lived in Detroit till I was 10, and then I moved up to Northern Michigan. I was born in Detroit, lived off of 7 Mile Mac for most of my life, you know, until I was 10. But it's crazy because the Detroit market reminds me so much of Flint. Like working in Flint, it wasn't out of the ordinary to do a live broadcast at a strip club, stay up till 4 a.m, drink yourself stupid, and the next day you have a furniture remote. Like it was just like such a weird and unique market. And
dude,
I compare the two.
Old man Smitty would not deal well with that market. I need to go to sleep
by
well,
8 a.m.
I'll tell you,
8 p.m.
Yeah, I'll tell you this now. Like I stayed up until midnight ordering the new Xbox, and I made it until 12:01 and crashed. Like if it wasn't for my wife, we wouldn't have one. Like I'm so old now compared to, you know, the younger days of radio, of just like getting wasted and, you know, doing parties and club nights and stuff. But getting back to Detroit, it reminds me so much of Flint, because I think that the image that surrounds Detroit is a very negative image, you know, in the news media, and obviously with Flint too, with the water crisis and homicides and everything. But there's a culture like no other. And what really bothers me is, and not just to pinpoint people from Northern Michigan, but just people in general have such a bad eyesore for Flint and Detroit. But once you dive into the markets and learn about the people and learn about the culture, it's such a unique experience that I hope that everyone takes some time to visit the area and learn about the culture.
What are you most excited? What's the coolest thing that's happened to you since the move to Woodward? And of course, dude, like I couldn't be more psyched. I follow your podcast on YouTube. I think it's the Art of Combat podcast, dude. Yeah. You're really like living the bucket list dream right now, interviewing all the guys you want to talk to.
Yeah, I will say, like, I'm not going to lie, today I've never been more sore in my life. So with the new gig, I decided like I can't have a combat page if I'm not going to do some sort of mixed martial arts. So yesterday was my first day training Brazilian jiu-jitsu. with this group called the Legions Jiu-Jitsu, and big shout out to Chris. And they brought me in, and they literally beat the shit out of me for an hour. Like, I feel my neck, I can barely move my neck. I have bruises. I'm so proud of my bruises. Like, they literally beat the shit out of me, and they're like, we don't do this normally for the first day, but you're an exception. I'm like, I don't want to be a fucking exception. Like, go light on me.
Did they choke you out?
Oh, dude, I got choked out 9 times in 5 minutes.
Oh no!
Choked out to the point to where I was like, I'm not gonna be a pussy and tap. And then I was like,
oh,
like, dude, I went up against. So they taught me at first. They went easy on me. My dumbass showed up without gym clothes. I had jeans and a t-shirt on, like I was just gonna go in fucking Chuck Norris style. So I show up, and he's like, they did the COVID test thing. They give you the, the temperature check, and they're like, all right, you get gym clothes? And I'm like, no. And the head coach is like, you don't have gym clothes? And I was like, no. So the guy who's recording video had a
dude, you're like Waldo on the Hot for Teacher video, and he's like, Waldo, you ready for school? Yes. You're like that walking into the MMA fighting arena for the first time.
Yeah, so Corey, who is recording video, and we're going to post the video today, he had an extra XL size Under Armour sweats. So I threw those on and had to tie them as tight as I could. I looked like a kid at the first day of school. And at first they taught me leg locks, which is pretty cool. And then it was like, okay, well, we normally don't do this for the first day, but we're going to do 5-minute sparring. But in jiu-jitsu, it's not sparring. You're just going to roll around. And I'm like, okay, cool. So he pit me up with this guy that I swear is Hoist Gracie's second cousin. Like, the dude literally in 5 minutes submitted me 9 times. And then he got to the point to where he was like, you got to get a dominant position. And I'm like, I'm fucking trying to. I'm trying. I can't fucking breathe. I made it 5 minutes. I tapped 9 times, and then he pitted me up against Chris, who was the head coach. And I lasted 3 minutes, and then I threw up in the bathroom. Like, no joke, threw up.
I believe it. Oh.
So it was. I felt like I was drowning.
So you're, like you said, you're sore now. Like, how you feeling about it now? You gonna go back?
Yeah, so I got to go back tomorrow. They're doing judo, which is nothing but hip tosses. So, man. I'll let my neck take a little bit of a break, and I could break my back a couple times. But yeah, that's one of the cool things that I've been able to do. Obviously, just lining up interviews. It's really awesome. In the world of MMA, like, they're just like regular people. Like, obviously with NFL, you've got huge multi-million-dollar contracts and get to hit up agencies. With a lot of these fighters, their DMs are open. So like, I've just been sending out DMs and I've been, getting a couple bites here and there. So yeah, I mean, that's probably off the top of my head. Some of the coolest things I've been able to do. And then obviously running the gaming portion, like we're buying Xboxes now and I stream every Wednesday night and I literally get paid to play Call of Duty. It's a pretty cool experience.
Shut up.
And they're herb friendly, which is awesome. I mean, like literally, it's the greatest. We have a streamer, his name's Josh McKay, he goes by Kid, and he's smoking weed, playing video games, and it's just like it's like a bro hangout place. It's fucking awesome.
Kind of like the Smith hole.
So you so you play Call of Duty. What were you really into the games? Is that like just sort of an add-on to the job, or were you already into the games a lot before that?
Yeah, great question. So Stick hit me up and he was like, hey, can you cover the MMA side? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'd love to. Like, that's my bread and butter. And then he's like, can you cover the gaming side? And I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you, dude. Like, I play bro games. I play Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, UFC, sometimes Madden. He's like, cool. He's like, so build a team. So we've been building a team, bringing on streamers that play, not only the bro games, but we've got this kid named Nick. I actually graduated high school with him. He does a lot of our articles. It's really cool that I'm a part of a team that encourages getting other members and bringing them on board. Right. I graduated high school with Nick at Forest Area, and he's one of the most talented people when it comes to putting together an article and making it detailed, and he's so knowledgeable. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to me, like every Wednesday from 7 to 9, I'm in the studio and I just play video games and talk shit and suck as much as possible.
Dude, that's amazing.
Dude, you're living the dream, man.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Art has got the podcast Art of Combat on YouTube. What else you want to get out, man?
Yeah, just, I mean, with Woodward Sports and what we've got going on, we've got a lot of stuff going on.
You got
We're
Kelly Stafford on board.
Yeah, that was crazy too. I found out, so when my wife and I had triplets, the hospital told us that we're the second coolest couple in the hospital's history, next to the Staffords, because our babies were born at the same place the Staffords were. So I'm still trying to meet her to tell her that, and she'll just probably look at me and go, okay, like, it's fucking cool to me, but no one else gives a shit. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just getting back to the core of being entertaining. One thing that I've had to work on with doing this podcast and doing this show is, like, radio trains you to talk a certain way. You got to get it in 15 seconds, especially with CHR format. It's just learning to go back to being myself. You had mentioned when I had lost my gig, I was super depressed, but truth be told, like, I've been depressed for, and I don't want to use that term loosely. I guess I've had anxiety issues for the past couple of years just because I wasn't myself, like, and it's nothing against the company I was working for or anything like that. It's just my idea of having fun isn't introducing Taylor Swift songs. Like, it's just not saying that could happen and I could go back to that. Like, if that's what I have to do to provide for my family, then that's cool. But it's just like every single day I wake up and I'm like, what do I want to do today? And I put it in my mind. And I know this sounds like hippie stoner, the secret talk, but like lately it's just been like, I come up with something, I think about it enough, and then it happens. It's been a blessing. So.
Dude, it couldn't be happier for you. Just
it's totally relatable.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're doing.
Well, and you look at what you guys have done too. I mean, you guys jumped on the podcast game early, and that's the thing, is that now, Smitty, what you do with your brothers is literally like, I grew up an only child. I had a stepsister, but I never really claimed her. But like, you guys have this camaraderie that is just like so unique, and bringing Logan in, and you guys have been doing it so long together that it comes off natural. And I'm just happy to be a part of it, man. There's podcasts that are out there that I'm not trying to shit talk, but they're like forced, it's like, hey, we're going to, talk about this and talk about that. And there's no like, no like uniqueness to it, to where you guys literally drink beer, smoke weed, you shit talk. Sometimes you go fishing, sometimes you go on an adventure, and it's fucking life. Awesome.
I mean, I'll be 100% honest, man. This internet thing has just given me a completely new focus and drive. Like, I'm still 100% like on board with radio. Like, I love my show. I want to do the best radio show I can do. Mm-hmm. But I also am so just enamored with the fact that, especially learning about like video and audio, and really learning how to edit and like create things. That is so fucking cool to me. The fact that I am just kind of able to produce really whatever I think happens to be funny or creative or anything, and I just have the freedom to shit it out whenever I want.
Yeah,
and there's so much fucking freedom there that it is out of this world, and it's fantastic.
Well, and you're blessed to work for a company that appreciates that and respects it too, because I'll tell you, a lot of these companies now in radio are just now getting on board with podcasting, and it's like it's forced, and it's too late, to where like you have a company that's like, yeah, do your thing, man. Like, you're your own person, and you can have content control of your product, which is amazing. And it's not forced, The amount of guests that you have, from comedians to artists to, it's just a wide variety. And, there's some people that have finally figured out that, Northern Michigan didn't get internet just 2 weeks ago. Like, it's been a thing for a while. Like, you guys are
not wrong.
Are ahead of, yeah. You guys are ahead of the curve. And I mean, I love it, man. It's something that's so unique, and it's so natural and fun, man. So props to both of you guys.
Dude, Art, I can't wish you more luck than I already am, man, because I wish you the best. So best luck, Art of Combat podcast on YouTube. Check them out, Woodward Sports Network.
I look forward to watching you get choked out again.
I can't wait.
Yeah. It'll happen very
I'm
soon.
jealous.
Next time I'm up north, man, we'll all get together. Hopefully this COVID shit will pass soon, and we'll have a couple drinks and some herbal remedies, and yeah, we'll shoot the shit.
Come into
Sounds
my hole,
good, man.
Hell yeah, I'll come right into your
all
hole,
right.
dude. I'll bring my dinosaur.
All right, buddy. Talk to you. Thanks, man.
See ya.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Art.
Hey, did you hang up?
I think he literally hung up.
Hung up on us. Wanted to talk to him off the thing.
He's like, that's enough of this interview.
That was fun. That was fun, man.
I haven't talked to that guy in a while.
It's good to catch up.
I love what they're doing with the Woodward Sports too.
It looks good. It sounds good. They're doing I don't know what the hell is the name of that guy that runs it? Sam Day or something to that effect.
They've got a whole crew, and I saw just yesterday they signed. It's kind of like the total team. They've got the dudes with the sports, they've got Art with the gaming and the MMA, and then they hired, well, not your stereotypical hot chick yesterday. They got a girl on the team to do all sorts of stuff. So
that's what happens when you're in Detroit. There's just money.
Full team of broadcasting going
Seriously,
on.
man, that's awesome. Congrats to Art. I'm really stoked. Really, really, really happy for that guy that he's landed someplace that was really cool and allows you to be creative and allows you to get stuff done that you want to do, you know?
Allows him to get choked out on the air.
Oh,
Which
man.
cracked me up so much. I saw his full video that went along with what I was talking about. And man, oh man, he tried hard.
I didn't see it yet. We recorded this interview the other day, and it has since come out since we talked to him, and I haven't watched it yet, but is it funny? Is it great?
It's so
really
funny. It's unintentionally hilarious because he's trying so hard and just tap,
murdered.
Hey, I would fare no better. No better.
When we're done here, we are going to record a Smith Hole Cinemas for tomorrow, which will be Friday, and that is going to be the movie Big that we are recreating for that.
Yeah. Not the piano scene, by the way.
No, there's no dancing in the Smith Hole.
Nope.
All right, next Tuesday. What the hell, everything?
What the hell, everything?